Hi, it's Rabbi Chaim Kaufman. Welcome to our 282nd installment of the Torah portion of the week. We are holding by Parshas Vayishlach, all about the confrontation between Yaakov and Esav, Yaakov's struggle with the angel of Esav, not allowed to eat the sciatic nerve, right? We're going out from there. We have the encounter between them. You have Dinah's abduction. You have the destruction of Shechem. You have the death of Rachel, the birth of Binyamin. Right, quite a bit to speak about. The Torah says, chapter 35, verse 29. It says, and Yitzchak expired, meaning he died, and he was gathered to his people, old and fulfilled of days. The son Esav and Yaakov buried him. Right, Yitzchak dies. And who buries him? Sons. Right? Yaakov and Esav. Now, says Moiv Rebbe, Arav Agon Moshe Moshlita should be well. And it brings down in Chochmah V'das. It brings down a Medrash. And the Medrash says, when Yitzchak died, comes on Yaakov and Esav, and all the Shvatim, right? All the tribes. They came to bury him. And everyone stood there. Everyone stood there and they cried. The tribes stood. They give proper kavod, proper honor to Yaakov, and they went outside. They went outside the cave in order that they wouldn't see Yaakov crying, and it would be like an embarrassment. It would be somewhat of embarrassment. Yaakov crying. In front of the tribe. Now you might say, "Wow, what's the big deal?" Right? He's showing emotion, but okay, we're going to see. The Rabbi says, when you have a dead person in front of you, what happens? Sometimes the child, screams out, they cry until they don't really have control. In other words, the parent dies, they miss them tremendously, and they could cry uncontrollably. But if they're kids, let's say, the father, lost his father, lost his mother, and he's crying uncontrollably, and the kids see that. The kids see that in such a situation. They could, God forbid, lose their respect. Lose the respect for their father. They go outside, right? They go outside in order that there won't be any issue. Now again, what can someone say? Someone can say he's showing emotion, so why are they going to show disrespect over here? Right? That's what we could answer. Rabbi here says, when you look at the mitzvah of kibbud av v'em, of honoring parents, it's not just an obligation to feed them, to give them to drink, etc. What do you have to do? To remember that they're your parents. You have to give them all the respect, that they're your parents. And you have to remember, there are things you're allowed to say to them. There are things you're not allowed to say to them. And you got to be careful, right? You got to be careful over here. So all the more so, we're going to flush this out in a second, but all the more so, he says, you have to honor your Father in heaven, meaning God. You have to properly honor him with your actions. You have to know his greatness, his awesomeness, and that's how we honor him. Now, very interesting thing here. What are we worried about? What are we worried about? We're worried about the fact that a child is going to see the parents in a certain situation. When they see their parents in a certain situation, they may say things. They may act in a certain way. And it will take away maybe their respect or some of their respect. Now, in this case, where the parents where let's say the father cries uncontrollably for the loss of his father or his mother, right? So, why should that be? That the kid's going to look at him in a different way. So Rarier points out, honoring parents doesn't just mean I'm taking care of them. I'm feeding them. I'm giving them to drink. I'm taking care of their needs. Right? That's part of the aspect. And some of the aspects, of honoring them. Let's see. You have to speak to them in a certain way. You have to deal with them in a certain way. I remember, once seeing a father, like wrestle with his kids. Kids were older, teenagers. So someone will say, come on, what's so bad about that? They're having fun, they're joking around. Forget, maybe the kids will make a wound in the father, which would be a Torah prohibition. Right? Let's say we're not worried about all that. So the father, what's the father doing? The father is relating to the child. At the child's level. Messing around, this and that. Okay, so you say big deal. The father wants to have a connection to his child. Very good. What's the problem? What's the problem here? Problem is, maybe that's not the best way the father gets respect from his kids. Because the person will say, come on. He's relating to them on their level. They have more respect for him. Want more respect. But Rebbe says no. This is just the opposite. Because a father or a parent should not go to the level of the kids. It's a disrespect. Right? It's dishonorable for the parent. Well, the parent has to act like a 15-year-old. Have to relate that. Well, there's that. It's bringing his honor down. It's lowering his self-respect. You tell me, but is that a good way to relate? Well, the kids see that, the parent's pretty cool, this, that. Maybe that'll bring more respect. Secular world, that's probably what they would say. But parents, the kids should look at them in a totally different way. In an awe-inspiring way. That doesn't mean parents are perfect. Right? But kids have to have proper respect. They have to stand up for them when they walk in a room. Shouldn't contradict them. Certainly can't make fun of them. Right? Embarrass them, in public. So going into what happens if the parents are evil, okay, spoken about that before. But when a parent goes to the level of the kid, or worse, the kid loses respect. Not the other way around. The child has to look up to the parent. Has to want to emulate the parent if hopefully the parent has good character traits to emulate. The parent should never stoop to the level of the kids. Doesn't mean you can't play with them. Doesn't mean you can't do other things with them. But you don't want to bring yourself down. You don't want to bring that level down to them in a certain way. Because if you do, as the Rebbe says, you're going to lose respect at some level. Because you see, by the burial of Yitzchak, and Yaakov's crying profusely, his kids walk out. Because the person's like that, they lose control. So the kids do not want to see the father out of control. Not to think anything bad about him. Not to show disrespect. But on the other hand, can't we say that they see the father in another context? See him as being human emotions. Okay? Have a different level of respect. That's what that's what we would think. Comes along our Rebbe here and says the name of the Medrash, not that way. The kids could lose respect for a parent such a way. So parents have to be idolized. Obviously, if they deserve it. And go in the right, the kids should go in their path. Go exactly in their path. At the same time, they don't want to see they don't want to see a parent in certain circumstances, certain situations. Because then it could look bad for them. They can denigrate them. Parents educating their kids should not stoop to their level. Parents are above that. They should be above that. And kids have to have proper respect. Parent has to treat a child a certain way. Kids have to treat a parent a certain way. But see, today, there's been such a breakdown of values that parents will stoop and act like their kids because they want to, quote unquote, be cool. They want the kids to see them as being cool. But, kids don't always see that, first of all. And second of all, the parents are acting like a kid. Who says the parent is allowed to act like a kid? The kid has to respect the parent. Someone will say, come on, they're showing that they're cool. Why isn't that respect? Because that's not what a parent should be doing. Parents' goal is to educate their kids properly. Not that we always do it right, but not to stoop to their level. When a parent goes to the level of the child, they're like a child. So here, Rebbe points out that when a kid sees a parent in such a situation, could lose respect. Could totally lose respect. So you're gonna say, well, the parent has to be in control at all times. Yeah, not so easy. But here we see the Shvatim, the tribes, had such respect for their father, they didn't want to lose any respect, so they walked out. They gave him space. That's the ultimate respect. Better than that, then look down upon him. Maybe, in such a case. Because there are times a person can be out of control. And when a parent is out of control, how the kids view it? You're going to say, who cares? This is a raw emotion. Yeah. You got to be careful. You have to be careful. That's what Rebbe's pointing out here. Not something we would have thought of. We would have thought of such a problem, just the opposite. Parents totally emotional. Kids should see that. They're human. Suffering a loss. Maybe they have more respect. But see, the parent over here is vulnerable. Very vulnerable. It can have a negative effect on the kids. So the Shvatim, the tribes, they walk out. Because they don't want to lose that respect. They want to keep their parents on a pedestal. Right, on a high pedestal. And that's how parents should be viewed. Doesn't mean parents are perfect. But at the same time, there has to be respect. Proper respect. And a parent shouldn't denigrate themselves for the sake of their kids. Oh, I want to draw closer to my kids. I'm going to act like him. Come on, 40 years older. You're 30 years older, at your age. That's not how you should relate to them. You gotta, you have to relate to them, not say not. Right? But you don't act like them. You're above them. They should see that you're above them. Again, sometimes people get lost And they'll think, they want to show they're being cool, to their kids. They're hip, as we would say. That's not what the kids need to see. Because kids can lose respect. And if God forbid kids lose respect, that's it. Right, we have a very broken chain today between parents and children. You're right, different generations, different trials, many things. Many, many things. We got to put our best foot forward, but there has to be a boundary, right? That's the point here. There has to be a boundary. The child has to know they're the child, doesn't matter how old they are. And the parent has to know that they're a parent. The parent is not a child. And the parent should not act as a child. Because if the parent acts like a child, what's going to happen? Kids will treat him like a child. You don't look at it as being cool and showing, oh, look how I relate and this and that. My parents are real hip, this, that. No. The degradation. The degradation. Kid doesn't have respect. Will lose respect. And it tarnishes the parents. Because let's call a spade a spade. A parent's a parent, not a kid. A parent does not act like a kid. And the kids, you want to emulate the parent. To the extent where they see him in some situation, they walk out. Why? They see him in a totally different situation now. They can lose a certain level of respect. Today, come on, this goes out the window. But that's what the Medrash says, right? That's how my Rebbe learns. That, parents have to be put on a pedestal. They have to know their place, and the kids have to know their place. I remind everyone that I have a class of Duties of the Heart every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Sunday, packed day, Book of Leviticus chapter 16, 4 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Israel time. No Hide Nations, No Hide Laws, every Sunday, 2:30 Eastern time, 9:30 Israel time, Q&As, 2 Q&As every Tuesday, Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Israel time, Tanakh Talk, controversial issues, every Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern time, Pirkei Avos, Ethics of Our Fathers every Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Israel time, conversion classes. Anyone interested in any of this, find me on Facebook at Michael Chaim Kaufman or Beyond Orthodox Conversion Judaism. You can send me an email, rabbichaimkaufman@gmail.com, IBBICHAIMCOFFMAN @gmail.com.